Hello and welcome to another episode of Do Not Fade This podcast. My name is Joshua Reimer. I'm joined by none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Jared Block. Jared, we're here to talk about some more NBA. Jared, how are you doing on this fine Monday afternoon, sir?
Doing well. Just enjoying the WBC from a spectator standpoint. Got a couple of days to kind of reset the head, so I feel pretty good about coming in with a fresh look on the week. My NBA work week did not end well whatsoever. Jalen Brunson giving me a solid 9 points as a flag plant is always a great time. But yeah, we move on, man. I think it's time. You'll start to see it on the show we are more clear and concise with our points, and there's really not much to talk about because if you look at the scope of the NBA, at some point last week we had the 10 worst teams in the league on a 40-game losing streak. It's clearly like the season's over for half of the league at this point, and you got to be really careful on how you approach things from a player prop perspective. So we'll get you all set up today. There's only a few spots that I really like on the slate. It's a small one. We have a bigger slate tomorrow. But yeah, it's time to start shifting to only focusing on the best teams.
Yeah, it sure is. Jared and I had a 5 minute vent session before the show about how much we hate the NBA right now. NBA took me out back and blew my brains out this weekend. Just absolutely destroyed me. Was between Bane and Paulo for a good ladder spot. Paulo's the one that goes off. I end up going with Bane. Zion went with over 32 or 33 and a half PRA. Felt really, really good about the spot overall. Ends up only playing 23 minutes, even though it didn't get to a blowout till like midway through the fourth. And he got 20 points and only shot the ball 8 times, but just didn't get any rebounds and assists. So yeah, that was bad. Duran came through for us on Saturday, which was really nice, but Keontae just ended up not showing up in a really good matchup against the Bucks. So I don't know. Pretty wishy-washy weekend. Wishy-washy's being kind. It was a pretty shitty weekend on my end. Definitely looking to rebound. I think there are spots on this slate. Like, it is pretty limited overall. Jared and I were kind of talking about teams you can already cross off before we even get into the show. But yeah, I think there are other spots that are really fun. So try to take the best mindset, best point of view, and attack it full force, full throttle, like we always try to do. So, Jared, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get into it. And yeah, I'll go, get a coffee while you name 7,000 names on this injury report?
Yeah, for a 10-team slate, this is pretty March NBA in a nutshell. For the Phillies, I keeps doing this. We just did the baseball show with the Phillies. For the 76ers, it might as well be Philly season anyway. Maxey, George, Embiid, and Edgecombe are out. They are clearly just moving on from this situation. We know that for Cleveland, the key piece of news is that Jared Allen is going to miss the game. So we'll talk about why that matters, considering they have the highest implied team total on the board. For Denver, I'm just going to keep going up and down the list because every single game has something. We know that Jamal Murray is questionable for Denver. We also know that in the same game for OKC, we know that Alex Caruso is going to join Isaiah Hartenstein and Jalen Williams on the bench. Chet Holmgren, officially questionable. For Memphis, they have like 8 guys out. Cedric Howard is doubtful. Pippen is doubtful. Hendricks is doubtful. Jerome's doubtful. We should expect all of them to not play. On top of Brandon Clark, John Morant, KCP, Aldama, Gibson, and Zach Edey. Clearly not interested in playing basketball. Brooklyn, we know that Igor Demon and Michael Porter Jr. are both out. Demon actually just got announced he's going to miss the regular season, rest of the regular season. Golden State, no Steph today, but his brother is going to be playing. He is probable. Seth Curry. Will Ricard is questionable as well. Horford, Butler, Porzingis, and even Moody are out for that side. Utah, Jaren Jackson Jr., Yusuf Nurkic, Markkanen, Walker Kessler are out. Vince Williams was released today by the Jazz. And on top of that, Isaiah Collier is out, while Keontae George and Ace Bailey are questionable. So we could see another team that has like 8 guys out. The Knicks, Mitchell Robinson's the only guy out there, which is great. And then on the last game, we have Beal and Collins are out for that side. So lots going on. You have 3 teams. Actually, I'll just include 4. You have 4 teams with more than 8 guys on the report. And those teams are Utah, Golden State, Memphis, and I will include Philly here because they're pretty close.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely going to be Quite the slate to talk about with injuries and everything. Kind of like what you and I talked about before the show, and I'll just bring it to the front, or bring it to the members or the viewers now. Some of these teams you can kind of completely cross off once you talk about their injuries. Like Philly is a great example where it's like, are you really willing to trust in Quentin Grimes or Kelly Oubre after all of these injuries? No, not really. Memphis, are you really willing to trust in Javon Small or Jalen Wells or Gigi Jackson? Feels a little wishy-washy, and so on and so forth. So we'll talk about that as we get more into things, but we will head over to top implied totals and talk about some top team matchups here. And like you already said, Jared, we're going to kick it off with the Cleveland Cavaliers. They have a 120.5 implied team total today. They are 13.5-point favorites. Over-unders at 227. Give me your thoughts on the Cavs against this decimated I almost said Phillies too. This decimated 76ers team.
Yeah, you can't really bring much to the table here because like they probably run faster without Embiid and possibly Maxey on the court. I'm not sure. So I don't really know if this is a pace up or pace down spot for Cleveland. Technically, if you want to look at it from what we track, it's a slight pace up spot for Cleveland. We know that the defense just kind of drops off everywhere with all these guys out. We know that in terms of what to do against them, Philly's allowed a lot of above the break threes. They've allowed a lot of restricted area scoring. And you got guys on this team that can certainly take advantage of that. Like Harden profiles well from that regard. Jalen Tyson profiles well from that regard. Donovan Mitchell has been one of the best corner three scorers in a very limited sample size over the last 2 weeks. But obviously he can do well from above the break as well. It does help that Jared Allen is out. That kind of brings Evan Mobley to the forefront in terms of that. Because they're not really playing Thomas Bryant whatsoever, even though he'll get some time today. But I do like Mobley from a restricted area scoring perspective today. I do think that lines up nicely. There are some spots where you feel pretty good about the situation. It's just this also could go completely the opposite way, and Cleveland wins by like 30. So, yeah, I don't know. I think the 3-point scoring is interesting. It's going to grade out well. I think Evan Mobley's overall spot's really strong, too.
Yeah, Mobley's done really well recently, too. We can talk about that more when we get the hottest shooters, but he's also done well against this team when it comes to the head-to-head stuff. He gets a big usage bump when Jared Allen is out as well. I think Allen, Harden, and Mitchell all get like 5% usage bumps when Allen's off the floor. So overall, this is a good spot for Cleveland. It's just going to be about how close this game is going to stay, which I definitely get worried about blowout stuff here. I think there's a lot of questions about how many can this 76ers team put up 100 plus points. I don't know. That feels a little wishy-washy at the end of the day. So we'll see. But I really do like what Cleveland brings to the table. All right, we head over to our next game, or our next team, which should not be worried about a blowout. Knock on wood. That is the Thunder as they face off against Denver here. They have a 119.5 implied team total. They are 6.5-point favorites. Over-unders at 232.5. Give me your thoughts on what Oklahoma City brings to the table.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like the spot in general. I don't know. This is an interesting one where, like, I do think that the spread is enticing, right? I think that that's solid. I have my concerns if Jamal Murray doesn't play. But with that said, you're kind of waiting on Chet News. I do think this is an elite spot for SGA, who leads the league from a mid-range scoring perspective, and Denver is one of the worst teams in terms of defending the mid-range in general. They're also allowing Denver is a lot of above the break threes. So you can make the case that like we never love OKC above the break scoring just because it is so SGA heavy. With that said, Jared McCain can do well from above the break. He's their leading scorer. Jalen Williams, surprisingly, over the last 2 weeks, is making around 2 per game, taking 4. So maybe on the luckier side of that. Isaiah Joe's been one of the top corner three guys on this team too. So like you have some shooters that can do well here, and Denver is kind of bleeding points to a lot of zones. So from that regard, it makes some sense. I do think again though it is an SGA spot for sure. From a mid-range perspective, it's just like tough spots to hit, like huge high markets for SGA. I don't know, man. You can make the case that it looks good on paper. Still going to be a relative sweat in terms of how many points he's going to have to get here, especially if Chet's out.
Yeah, has he done well against Denver in the past? I feel like I remember he has, but He's done really well against Denver in the past. Huh, interesting. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely
how
a
much of that
sweat.
is postseason though, right?
That's true. Well, let's see. We can put that here, right? Regular season. Oh, it's a little bit more wishy-washy. But his 2 games against Denver this year, he had 34 points and 36 points. So that's not too
Fair,
shabby at the end of
fair.
the day. Like, I think that's pretty solid. Yeah, I like the spot for Shea. I don't know if you can really get behind anything else. The Chet stuff will be really interesting because you don't have Hartenstein. If we get another game with Jalen Williams, I mean, how much are you buying into the Jalen Williams hype? Because we've seen him do some pretty incredible stuff when both Hartenstein and Chet are off the floor.
I'm slightly interested. I think you can buy into it a little bit more. Obviously, Jalen Williams, the other Jalen Williams being out too. Uh, yeah, I mean, I'm filtering it right now. Previous stuff looks really, really good. Uh, I think I can buy into it. I think I'm more so sold on the fact that, like, yeah, if Chet's out, that's great. But you're gonna need that because Denver isn't really allowing a ton of center scoring. They've kind of fixed that issue the last 7 games, but they're getting scorched by wings and point guards right now. But I can certainly buy into the Jalen Williams stuff only if Chet's out.
For sure. Definitely going to wait on that Chet news. All right, let's move on and cover our third highest implied team total, which belongs to the Golden State Warriors. We don't see them this high up on the list. At least we usually don't see them this high up on the list. But we do today because they're facing off against the Utah Jazz. They have a 115.25 implied team total. They're 7.5-point favorites. Over-unders at 223.5. Give me your thoughts on what the Warriors bring to the table.
I mean, this is one of those spots where I think you can argue and say, like, there's just a lot of guys that are going to be in good spots. That's kind of where you start when you face the Utah Jazz at this point of the year. This is going to be a huge, huge pace-up spot, one of the bigger pace-up spots on the slate. We know that you can attack them via the paint as well as the corner three and the above the break three zones. It's just from there, like, there's so many guys on Golden State that are hurt right now, so you're gonna hear some really strange names coming out of who can do well from three. We've seen LJ Cryer now play the last 2 games, pretty good run. He's their best above the break scorer the last 2 weeks. Pods is basically kind of doing it all right now, so he needs to be mentioned here as one of the spotlight players. D'Anthony Melton's going to get a ton of run given the injuries. From there, like, I don't know, man. It's tough for me to really feel good about a ton of stuff. I think it is kind of just like a Pods Melton Santos show, and from there, I can't really be that confident about what these peripheral players are going to do.
Yeah, for sure. I really like the pod spot. We continue to see him play big minutes, even with this team not really competing anymore. So that's exciting. And I love what Gui brings. I've been I feel like I've been a really big Gui Santos supporter overall. Had 22 against the Thunder as well. Pretty sure it's a season high for him, which is pretty impressive to do against that Thunder team. Yeah, I think Santos can have a big night. I think Pods can have a big night. D'Anthony Melton potentially could be like a 3-point scorer here. I know he's done well in that regard at some points this season. Same with Moses Moody. Never mind, Moses Moody's out. That's a lie. But I don't know if you saw Draymond Green hit 4 threes at the end of last week. So maybe it's the Green show here. Maybe we could see some more 3-point finesse from him. That's mostly a joke, but yeah, I like Pods. I like Santos. Like you said, everything else feels pretty wishy-washy overall. All right, anything else to cover here when it comes to implied team totals? If not, we'll head over to hottest shooters.
No, we can move on.
Let's move over to hottest shooters, Jared. Who do you want to bring to the table first?
Talk about Benedict Mathurin. Brought him up on the show last week, I believe you did. And just saying, like, with John Collins' injury and a few other things, I do think that Mathurin just becomes like the bench scorer for this team, like he was for the Pacers at certain points of times. He has 16 plus points in 7 of his past 10 games. So yeah, I think it's a middling spot in general, but we'll start there because I don't know if we'll talk about the Clippers the rest of the show.
Yeah, well, I'm at least going to talk about the Clippers one more time because I feel like I should bring Kawhi's name into this list. I know the overall stuff doesn't look great. He's only gone over 26 points in 5 out of his last 10 games. But he's had 3 straight games where he's had 25 or 26 plus, and those have all been really solid games for him. So I talked about him in the rundown. I do like the spot overall, and I think he definitely has some upside here. So at least I will bring Kawhi Leonard to the table here. Give me your thoughts. Who else do you want to talk about?
Not much on here. It's a really thin slate, just given like if you're playing and you don't have trends, then like I can't really talk about you. So with that said, yeah, there's not really not that much. I will say Oubre has hit 2+3s in 5 of his past 6 games. The line today would be more inflated on that regard, but if you're looking for corner three guys, like Oubre would be that spot that could take advantage of the Cleveland weaknesses. It's pretty thin out there, man.
Yeah, Jalen Williams is another guy I was going to mention. He's had 2+3s in 5 out of the last 6 games. Like you said, not a whole lot else. Landry Shamet has had 10+ in 5 out of the last 6. That's pretty gross that I have to mention that on this slate. Mobley has had 17+ in 4 straight, so that feels at least worthy to note. Outside of that, like you said, not a whole lot to talk about. All right, anything else here, Jared? If not, we'll head over to Roundtable.
Yep, we can move on.
All right, for those who don't know how Roundtable works, Jared and I bring some of our top plays to the table to talk about, and those top plays are in different statistical categories. Those categories are points, rebounds, and assists. We start out with points, like we always do, and Jared, I'll let you go first. Where do you want to go?
Yeah, I was going to bring this up in a streak because it's in a negative light, but I will say and start this take by saying that GG Jackson has fallen under 29 PRA in 5 straight games, and that's with the majority of these guys already not playing, and now you add a couple of more names to the list. With that said, I think you kind of got to throw the trend out at least a little bit, and because the spot here is pretty tremendous. We know that this restricted area scoring for the big men here against Brooklyn is elite. And you essentially just kind of just target that, right? You can target power forwards against against Brooklyn. You can also target centers against Brooklyn. I think that anybody who's starting and playing a bunch of minutes in those roles should be able to do well in the spots. So we'll go with GG Jackson against the Brooklyn Nets.
For sure, can certainly get behind that. I am going to go to this spot for Karl-Anthony Towns, who I really like from a scoring aspect. Ever since we've seen Zubac leave town for the Clippers, we've seen them really struggle with the center position. They've been giving up a boatload of points, and they've been giving up above the break 3 points as well a bunch recently. That kind of fits in the Cat's sweet spot, right? Cat's a center. He's a big man who likes to score, but he also shoots the 3 quite a bit. So I think Cat has some good upside here for scoring. I do like his spot quite a bit. Rebounds, where do you want to go?
Going with Kyle Filipowski. He's had 11+ in the last 3 games. It's a really good spot on paper. The Warriors have allowed the 3rd most rebounds to the center position over their last 7. And on top of that, the rebound chances for Filipowski have only been going up these last couple of games. 13, 13, 17, 14, and 11 for him. The RA market is really good too. 14+ in 4 straight. So I know it's tough to trust anything Utah related, but this is basically his team rest of regular season.
Yeah, I really like the Kyle Filipowski spot. That's why I'm very upset that you took it. But I have somewhere else to go, and it's pretty easy. Let's just go with Nikola Jokic here. I know the recency stuff hasn't been good. He's fallen under this number in 3 straight games, but he has done well against this team in the past when it comes to rebounding. Even outside of the playoffs, he's done well rebounding against the Oklahoma City Thunder. So we'll go with Jokic, especially if they're missing Chet. Like, I know that Jalen has been kind of on a streak. Jalen Williams has been in a good streak recently. But you got to also consider that Jokic is just probably a better overall center, and Williams probably hasn't been dealing with that elite level of center like Jokic is. So, yeah, I like this spot for Jokic quite a bit from a rebounding perspective. Okay, assist. Where do you want to go?
We're going with SGA. By the way, I will say my spiel on him in a second, but in the last game against the Thunder, Joker had 29 rebound chances and 26 potential assists, which
I think that game went to overtime.
RA. It did,
I will say,
but my point is
still,
he was still smashing regardless at this market.
For sure.
With that said, we're going with SGA. That was his highest assist number, and obviously overtime helps. He had 13 against Denver in that last one. This is just going to be a spot where I think point guards are going to be able to distribute very, very well in general. And if you've seen What his assist numbers look like recently? He has gone over 8 in 5 of the past 7. The Denver Nuggets are allowing the third most assists to point guards over their last 7 games. They're kind of getting just torched everywhere from an assist perspective. But the main thing I like about the Shea spot is that he's able to not only have success in terms of the mid-range via his driving, but he should be able to get into the mid-range and find the open corner 3 above the break shooters where Denver is struggling as well. So you like that from pretty much every angle.
For sure. I'm going to go with Jalen Brunson here. 2 Knicks definitely doesn't seem like a great idea, but we're going with it because I really do like the assist spot for Brunson. Point guards have hit their assist line or 78% of point guards have hit their assist lines against the Clippers over the last 10 games. Brunson's also had 5 straight games where he's had 7+ assists. He has 3 games in here where he had 10+ assists. So, he's been cooking on the assist side of things. You pair that with a really good matchup, and it's hard to ignore the Brunson upside. So, Brunson at 6.5 assists is very, very solid. All right, Jared, if you don't have anything else here, we'll head over to two minds are better than one.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, for those who don't know how it works, Jared and I go back and forth, each of us selecting 2 player props each. We put those player props into a parlay where we try to have the goal of that parlay to have odds between plus 100 and plus 150. Jared, I'll have you start out first. Where do you want to go?
Debating if I want points or PRA. I think I'm going to end up just saying, screw it, let's go PRA for Evan Mobley. 32 in 3 of the last 4 games. In the matchups against this team, he had 24 in that spot, but again, Allen not playing today makes a bunch of sense. He had 36 PRA against Philly back in January, and then 31 to start the year. So he has his success, like we've mentioned before. I'm cool with any PRA number for him.
Well, we're kind of stuck with 25 because 25 PRA is minus 302. Or minus 305, and 20 plus PRA is minus 1280. So yeah. We're stuck at 25 there. That's what we're going to roll with. I'm going to go to the Shea spot. I like the points upside. We'll go with 25 plus for Shea, minus 418 there. So feel like a solid bet. I'll let you go next. Where do you want to go?
We'll get Filipowski at whatever rebound number makes sense.
Sweet. We will get him at... Let's go 6+ because we're pretty close to our number already. And last but not least, I got to choose between Gui and... I'm going to go PRA for Podziemski, I think, because I really like the spot for him. We'll go with 25 plus PRA for Podziemski. So overall, we have Kyle Filipowski for 6+ rebounds, Brandon Podziemski for 25 plus PRA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for 25 plus points, and Evan Mobley for 25 plus PRA. Altogether, get you at plus 120, Jared. All right, man, let's get out of here. Give me your final thoughts. What do the people need to know about tonight's NBA slate?
It's gross, Josh. We are here. We're going to say that we are going to have several of these gross slates in the month of March. And I think what we have to do, the last couple of weeks since the break has resumed, we've obviously seen notable parity. The bottom 10 teams in the league are tanking, and you got a couple of them on the slate today. You have some spots that are really nice, and I think that you kind of just have to play the best of the best. Whereas, maybe on maybe tomorrow's bigger slate looks a lot better, but in terms of what this slate looks like, the 5-gamer, it's gross pretty much all the way around, every way you slice it. So just be very mindful of that heading in, because I know even with us, crapping all over the slate, people are still going to play it, and we're still going to provide the best content to be able to play it effectively. So we will be pessimistic for the majority of March in terms of the NBA podcast, but as I said at the beginning of the show, there will still be elite spots. It will just be up to us to be very clear and concise on the podcast and behind the paywall for members in order to kind of just ride this thing out before we get to the postseason.
Yeah, there's like you said, it's pretty bad, man. And like you said, we're also going to have a lot of these, so kind of get used to it, especially as we get towards the end of March where things get really bad and really ugly. But like you said, we're gonna attack it the best we can, and definitely. There are some spots, like as much as we shit on it, as much as I'll continue to shit on it, there are spots that I really like on the slate. It's just they're very limited, and you don't feel 100% about them. But there are spots that I like, and I feel really good about those spots. Feel good about the research overall. So let's have a good day today, and hopefully get a better slate tomorrow. Jared, you got anything else? If not, we'll get out of here, man.
We will have a pretty good slate tomorrow for what it's worth. 11 games on the docket. The bad stuff is really bad. Like Grizzlies face the Sixers, and that injury report's going to suck.
Fun.
Uh, the but we do have some awesome games. Like Celtics Spurs is going to be an awesome game.
Nice.
Timberwolves Lakers is going to be an awesome game. So yeah, some good stuff to look forward to. But yeah, I think that like we said, just play the best plays. Don't try to get cute. I would say anything besides Filipowski is a disaster for Utah, and anything besides, like, I would just fade the Sixers and not even play the DFS slate today, considering what their ownership's going to look like. So it's gross pretty much all the way around. I think I can name 3 or 4 plays that are extreme confidence plays. And from there, everything else has a red check mark next to it. So we move forward, and we'll be back tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Exactly. All right, let's get out of here. Thank y'all for listening. As always, my name is Joshua Reimer, and we will see y'all tomorrow.